Hey, welcome back to another episode on Between the Notes podcast. And today we have with us Baby Doe, Baby Doe. So this summer, Virginia Mims and I will be singing the Ballad of Baby Doe for the 70th anniversary of the world premiere of that opera at Central City Opera. So welcome, Virginia. I'm so excited to have you here and to get to know more about you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's
Yeah,
a pleasure.
welcome.
Yeah. So all the way from
Warm.
Sarasota, right? You're down there singing Musetta right now.
Yeah, you got it. We're in the middle of La Boheme rehearsals. We open on Valentine's Day.
Oh,
Oh, that's the
we
second.
just recently,
Yeah.
yes, we just interviewed a former student of Brian's wife, Julia Ernst. I don't know if you know that name,
Oh yeah,
but
I love Julia.
yeah, she's singing
Yay.
Mimi at Yale, and they open, I
Right.
think, on that weekend. I don't know
It's a
what day it
great
is.
Valentine's Day opera, except for Act 4. But the first,
Yeah, right.
the rest of it's pretty good.
Spoiler alert.
Wah, wah.
Tour is maybe not the most uplifting.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
At least Marcello and Musetta get to be together at the end.
That's right.
And
That's
she
right.
shows how sweet of a heart she really has. She's just
Yeah.
fiery. She's just fiery.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So
love it.
Virginia, talk with us a little bit about, I mean, one of the things that we've kind of, tried to do in this podcast is be the source of information for young singers to the questions that they don't even realize that they have. And so to get to know a little bit more about you, tell us, maybe walk us through sort of your education, how you got started in music, what really brought you to singing, and then maybe some of the different training programs that you've done, and along the way, maybe some of the things that you've really struggled with, and some of the things that you've really found success with. Like what kind of advice would you give yourself, 10 years ago? That kind of thing.
Wow, yeah. Okay. Let me let me just
I know that's a lot,
in
but
the
yeah.
brain, pour it all in and see what we
We
come
got
up with.
45 minutes or so.
Yeah,
Take
yeah.
your time.
Okay. Well, for anybody who doesn't know anything about me, I come from an opera singer family.
Cool.
Essentially, my mother, Marilyn Mims, was a soprano back in the 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Know that
and
Of
name.
it
course.
incredible soprano. I mean,
Wow.
if anybody is my idol in life, it sounds so sappy, but it's really my mom. My
That's
mom.
awesome.
Sweetest thing
Not
ever.
sappy at all.
That's not sappy. It's amazing.
I love you, Mom. She's
Yay,
probably gonna
moms.
listen. So yeah, I started well, first of all, I was just engulfed in all of this operatic singing from a very young age.
Sure.
So I never really considered it as something other than normal.
Right.
Whereas I think so many people grow up and they don't really have access to recordings, much less live
Right.
singing,
Certainly
right
was the
there in
case
their
for me.
living
Yeah.
room. So,
Yeah.
so I had the pleasure of that, but I never really knew that I wanted to pursue a career in opera until I
Mhm.
was about 14.
Okay.
My mom, she's not singing very much anymore. She teaches primarily. So it was take your child to work day. And
Fun.
it just so happens to be jury day. So 14-year-old me is sitting there watching all the juries for that day. It was like 6
That's a lot.
hours of juries.
Yeah, I
It
was
was
say
a
that's
long.
kind of baptism by fire a little bit there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, for me, it was just kind of like, oh, I remember that song. Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh,
What'd you think of them?
right.
It was
Oh, super
fun.
fun.
And by the end of the day, it really kind of empowered me to say, I'm not too far in age from these people in their
Mhm.
undergrad, and maybe I could do that. Mom, would you give me a lesson? And she was like,
Mhm.
maybe another day. I was like, no, now we have so
That's amazing.
yeah, so we did, and the seed was very much planted and watered
Wow.
throughout the years. My high school years, I have so many fabulous memories of meeting a lot of my colleagues now in high school competitions, things like
Mhm.
classical singer competition, young art
Oh, yeah.
foundation.
Right.
And yeah, so that was a big that I was bitten by the bug,
Yeah.
whatever you want to say.
Sure,
Sure.
sure.
Back then, I went to school for it. I went to IU. Go Hoosiers!
Tell
Woohoo!
you what, I'm an IU alum myself, and Brian is currently on faculty at IU. So.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
um,
What's your shirt say that you just got, Weston? We beat everybody.
Indiana beat everybody. I got the hoodie sweatshirt with yeah,
I think
super
I got to
cool.
get me one of those Signetti bobbleheads to put in my studio for everybody
Yeah.
who doesn't learn their music as well as they should, you know.
there you go. Yeah.
Go IU. So for undergrad?
For both undergrad and masters.
Awesome.
So I just kind of stayed on, did the 6-year program.
Sure. I mean,
And,
it is a great place, not to be, you know, kind of tooting our own horns here, but I
Yeah.
mean, IU is, if you haven't seen it, you don't realize what we're talking about when we talk about Bloomington and IU. The MAC, the East Studio building, all the buildings, Merrill Hall. There's so much history. You know, I was talking with one of my colleagues, Jane Dutton, who has Margaret Harshaw's old studio, and it's gorgeous. And you just think all the voices that
Those
were
walls could talk.
through here, and Totsi and Kukuro and all these people. Who did you study with when you were here?
I studied with Alice Hopper. So
Oh,
yeah.
I sat in front of Alice we had an auditions weekend here, and so we had you know, kind of the graduate auditions are from like 9 in the morning till 7 at night, and Alice and I were buddies. She sat right behind me, and we were like, oh yeah, she was good. Oh, he's got a great voice. She's a sweetheart. I love Alice Hopper so much. I can't wait to tell her that we had you on here.
Yeah, I mean, she's such a fixture there. When I was trying to figure out what to do for my undergrad,
Yeah.
my mother had gone to IU and studied with Virginia Zayani,
Right.
Yeah.
and who is my namesake. That was,
Oh,
yeah, that's why I'm named Virginia for
what a
this
voice.
fabulous
What an presence.
What an incredible human.
Yeah.
When I was a student at IU, Virginia Zayani was a strong presence. Her husband had already passed away. I never got to meet Nikolai Rossolameni, but I certainly knew Virginia, and I would sit in on her studio classes and we'd talk, and yeah, she was a very special woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to say the least. That's
Mhm.
her statement.
Mhm.
She, yeah, fabulous woman. So I had this kind of tradition in the back of my mind and thinking about all the success my mother had at IU.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so big. I
Right.
considered this and I thought, you know what though? I kind of like a trial by fire. So
Yeah.
so I went and it really worked out. I got to do lots of roles on the Mac stage.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, so that was a wonderful experience for the real world. And then, of course, I graduated with my master's in 2021.
Okay. Oh, right
So
after COVID and all that.
right
Yeah,
after
right.
COVID. And
Wow.
yeah, it was a tough time. I think um, one of the struggles that probably many of the singers of my generation have had is the COVID times. I mean, we all have
Mm-hmm.
had this
Sure.
struggle
Yeah.
Yeah, in our different, yeah, exactly.
Different ways, but
in
yeah.
different
Right.
ways. And trying to, you know, break into the industry and become a professional from the student sphere
Mm-hmm.
was really difficult on top of trying to perform during those times in general. I'm singing Musetta here, but my first Musetta was my final production at IU in
Oh,
2021. And I just remember feeling so discouraged having to sing wearing this big mask and you know we didn't have any hair and makeup so
right.
the performance was very different from all of my other productions there
Yeah.
and it was just a discouraging time. So, long story short, I got married.
Okay.
He joined the army, and we moved to Germany.
Oh, wow.
Okay, there you go.
That's quite a left turn, or not a right turn. I
Yeah,
mean, it's just a hard turn, no matter which way you're going.
Yeah.
we,
Where were you
yeah,
staying? Where was he stationed?
he was stationed in Sembach in
Okay.
Germany. So I so lovingly call it the West Virginia of Germany. Um,
Okay.
because it was very rural. We had to drive about an hour and some change to get to Frankfurt.
Okay.
But we were able to see some operas while we were there. But you know, during that time, coming out of school and trying to navigate that uh,
Mm-hmm.
audition scene, I didn't have very many contacts. And
Sure.
to be honest, during that period of my life, I thought this is really tough. I was
Yeah.
going through vocal changes and just feeling like my current technique wasn't getting me where I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought maybe I should teach instead. I'll go teach at a little school in Germany where it was an international school where we all spoke English.
Okay.
And
That helps. It's easier at least.
it was a different skill set, I'll
Yeah.
say
Mhm.
that. And because of that experience, I look at school teachers with the utmost respect
Oh, of course, yeah.
because
Right.
not only was that probably the hardest job I've ever had, it really instilled how much love I had for performing, and
Mm.
it instilled that I really had that within me, and I needed to pursue that instead.
Were you
Great.
teaching music, or was this just general education, or what?
It was music, but it was general music, and so it was to,
Mm.
like, weekly classes for all of the grades, and so it was an international school, smaller private school.
So, like,
Uh
Mhm.
K through 12, or
Yeah, exactly.
oh, wow.
So, it was even preschool through 12, I think.
Oof, and
Wow.
that's so hard on your voice. I mean, you're just talking constantly to a
Yeah.
room
You're
full
telling me I
of
couldn't
people.
practice. I couldn't
Yeah.
practice.
My gosh.
Course, course.
So, once I realized that wasn't the path for me, I decided, okay, I was 25 at the time, and I thought
Mhm.
I'm gonna keep applying to the young artist programs that I was doing before in the States. And
Mhm.
um, so I came back to the States. I got an apprentice artist offer from Sarasota Opera.
Okay.
Okay.
So I went there in the winter where I am here,
Right.
in 2023 as an apprentice artist and, had a great success. It's a fabulous program for anybody who's considering it.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Um, and they had me come back the next season to cover the title role of Lucia, which was a dream.
Amazing. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and,
And so
it went
are you working with Jason Ferrante now? Was
No, no.
Jason Ferrante, was he there at Sarasota Weston, or am I making that up?
Well, Jason Ferrante has kind of made a career of being the voice teacher at almost every young artist training program. It's
Yeah.
Jason and I were in school together, and we did Wolf Trap a couple of summers together early, getting our careers off the ground.
Yeah.
And he sang for a little bit, and then once he kind of stopped singing, he just full on dove into the teaching world. He would be a great person for an episode, by the way, Brian.
Yeah, yeah,
I love
totally.
him to death. I
I
love him.
just see
But I
because
don't think he teaches at Sarasota.
well, Nicole Heinen, do you know that name?
Yeah.
Well, she came to our H2 thing, but anyway, she was doing some things with Sarasota, and she somehow got to work with him. Anyway, it's a tangent, and you're not working with him, and so that's fine. But he's a
No
great
worries.
guy, and if you're ever, looking for
Yeah, I
somebody,
definitely know his name. I'd love to get
yeah.
to meet him
So
soon.
you
Yeah,
were
no.
saying you were at Sarasota, great program, and you got to cover Lucia.
Yeah, exactly, and, we have the cover runs here are a big deal. A bunch of the company came and heard it, and I guess it went well because they offered me my first principal contract as Susanna in Marriage at
Great.
Figaro for the next season.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I got, 7 performances of that Nozze and then, got to do a jump in last year, at IU when they needed a Susanna.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. I might have
Yeah,
even seen your performance. I don't remember. I don't know, because I definitely saw Not Say here at IU. I think I
yeah.
saw the first opening night. I'm not sure if that was your night or
No, that
not.
wasn't me. I could only do, one of the performances, which was the Saturday? It
Okay,
might have been a
gotcha.
matinee.
Right. Yeah, that was unfortunately, I missed that one.
Yeah.
But had I
Well, how cool is
known
that, though? You get to go back to your alma mater and
I
and perform.
know.
So then your last role at IU was no longer the Musetta
There
Womp
you go.
Womp. You got to do,
Yeah, right.
you got to do the Susanna. That's
It was a
great.
beautiful production, actually. I thought it
Yeah.
was I'm sure you enjoyed it. Asher is one of my students. I don't know if he was in your cast or not, but, we all love Asher. And
Yeah.
my office is right across the hall from Kevin's, so that's super
Yeah.
fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Love Kevin.
Awesome. He's such a great
Well,
guy.
so yeah, I mean, since then, I've just been, working a lot at Sarasota. I made a Carnegie Hall debut with, Mid-America
Oh,
Productions.
that little known place.
Congratulations.
I was about to
Thank you.
say, big deal.
Yeah, yeah, big deal. So, trucking along in the part of my career where you're singing for anybody who will hear you.
Sure. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just so excited. I have another Susanna after this Musetta and then dive into Baby Doe, which is a
Yeah.
role I've been singing the arias forever.
Oh, that's
Um,
great. Yeah.
yeah, and so now to get to do the role is such a dream.
I know I was having a conversation with somebody the other day. It was like these these roles, or at least sorry, these arias from that opera are things that I've heard like forever.
Yeah.
But the actual show is just not performed all that often.
Right.
Similar to you, like Warm as the Autumn Light was an aria that I learned my sophomore, junior year in undergrad. And so I've lived with this thing for over 30 years. I am so excited to sing it, and I was so excited to learn that you would be the Baby Doe. So how did that come about for you?
Yeah, well, okay, the funny thing is, where I met Julia, your
Mhm.
wife's student,
Yeah.
I was in Aspen
Oh,
This
last
okay.
past summer.
Yes,
Were you one of
Yeah.
the Renee Fleming
I
scholar people?
was!
Oh,
Oh,
Yes,
congratulations.
cool.
That's
thank
very cool.
you, thank you so much. I got to, cover my first Fiordiligi, and I sang Musetta, so
That's
Nice.
great.
yes, and so while I was out there, a friend of mine texted me. He was at Central City, and he had, uh, got the word they were doing Baby Doe next year, and he said, "You would be perfect. You have to sing for them. I don't know how you can make that happen." I was like, "I'm on it."
Oh, I
So
love it.
so I coached up her arias. I tried to get to sing for them while I was out there, but I didn't have a car, and it was just a scheduling nightmare, so it didn't end up
Yeah.
working. I sang for I think there are a few other productions happening of Baby Doe this summer, and so I sang for them as well. But so it just came about. I thought that I had something else in the works. And then all of a sudden, Kathy Olson emailed me and said, "I think they're going for you for Baby Doe." And I was like, "What? Oh my God."
We love Kathy Olson. She's a
Oh,
manager with
Encompass.
Encompass Artists, right?
Hmm.
Yes, exactly. So that's that. We got it signed. We're
Done
good
and
to
done.
That's
go. Yeah.
awesome. I
Yeah,
remember when Weston told me that he was being considered for this, I was like, well, it's luxury casting. They'd be lucky to have you. I kind of started thinking about because we did this role when I was an undergrad, but at New Orleans Opera, and I was one of like little dandy guys.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the same thing that you were saying, right? We all know the hits of Gold is a Fine Thing and Warm as the Autumn
Right.
Light and all the but I was like, I don't know any of this other music and nothing against the rest of it, but it's not as memorable as those moments where he just pours out beautiful, beautiful music. And obviously that's, through compose and they just kind of recipe stuff. But I was listening to Weston sing some of the lines when I was visiting his family and him in Kansas City back. And I was like, it's tricky. It's not the easiest score for either of you,
Yeah.
yeah.
either of your roles to sing. And so talk a little bit about because from Susanna to Lucia to Musetta to Fiordiligi, all these different kind of things. Like just talk a little bit about reconciling all of those different kinds of singing
Yeah.
and how it's fun and maybe yeah, just like it sounds like your voice is going to be maybe on the bigger side of Baby Doe's than
Yeah.
maybe a Beverly Sills, but, that's great.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Exactly. I think the biggest takeaway is everything that I sing with my own voice.
Love
I
it.
sing, and I
You should say that
love
3 more times for our
yes,
audience.
for the people in the back.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I love it.
Um, yeah, and so, especially with Baby Doe, I think people are used to hearing lighter coloraturas sing these
Mhm.
arias, but
Hmm.
the truth is, I mean, it's kind of one of those roles like Lucia, like Traviata, where they require um more a dramatic singing, especially towards the end.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Um, and so I think it's one of those things where you have to approach it the way you would approach with your voice and
Yeah.
consider the greats before you and have your own take. And
Amen. I love everything
Of
you
course,
just said.
100%
Yeah.
agree.
I don't know who the Augusta is gonna be with you guys, but when we
It's
did it.
Emily Pulley.
Oh, right, right,
I
right, right.
love, I don't know if you know Emily, Virginia, but she is wonderful.
Yeah.
yeah,
Just an incredible artist.
no,
Melissa
I haven't
Park.
met her yet.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I can't I so wish I could come out and just
Yeah.
even if I didn't see a show, I'd just hang out with you guys. But
Hmm.
Melissa Parks did it when we were
Oh, yeah.
in her voice was enormous.
Her voice is enormous.
I
My
well, unfortunately
gosh.
she's passed. She's
She
passed,
passed
but
away.
she did pass away. But
Yeah.
she sang that first, and I was like, wow, it just sounds like she's just got like, I don't know, like the juiciest mezzo, like
Oh, yeah.
Mother Earth Speaking of which, she then sang Erda in our Das Rheingold down in New Orleans, which I did a little small thing. But anyway, I had such respect for her. But anyway, the point is that Weston's voice is big. The mezzo's voice is probably going to be pretty sizable. So it makes sense to have a fuller baby dose just to hold your own presence, within that cast.
And I will say, though, that, like, I think that Central City Opera House holds a grand total of, like, 524 seats or something like that.
Wow,
It is
yeah.
a very intimate, small, old house, and so
It's
I think it.
is that the Tabor Opera
No,
House?
the Tabor Opera House is the one that's in Leadville,
Leadville, right?
Colorado,
You're right.
and yeah, so Central City, yeah, so I think what's so cool about I mean, it sounds so like I'm geeking out about this, but it's like it's interesting to sing a show where you're actually portraying real people that once lived in an environment where they were. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, one of your first things is like, I just took the train in from Central City. It's like, and
Yes,
there we are, you know?
exactly. It's such a piece of
Wow.
Americana.
Yeah,
Mhm.
totally. And I will say it's not a style of music that I have sung a lot of. And when I first started looking at this, I was like, what is this hokey, cheesy? But I will say, it has grown on me so much
Mm.
to the point where now I just find myself like kind of humming some tunes because I've got to front load a lot of the prep for this because I've got a butterfly that I'm doing immediately followed by a Carmina Burana and then immediately followed by a Traviata. And then I've got like 2 weeks before we start rehearsals on this. And so I wanted to kind of get ahead of the game. And I'm so glad I am because I really am falling in love with the score and super excited to sing this stuff with you. So I think
Yeah,
it'll be a lot of
agreed.
fun.
Agreed. Like Brian was saying, some of the ensembles and things apart from the arias are just not really instinctive,
Mhm.
like
You mean like the melodies?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
somewhere where you're like, okay.
I
I
mean,
mean,
the line where I say my name to you, I'm like, my name is, let's see, how's it go? My name is Horace Tabor. If I can be of any help, I hope you'll let me know. Like, it's
yeah,
just like, remember? Like,
Right?
okay, all right, whatever.
Even for,
That's
like, the
fine.
little small part, like, I totally underestimated how long it was gonna take me to learn the notes and the stuff, and I remember showing up at one of the first rehearsals being like, it's like, damn, because like, I mean, I played a lot of piano. I feel like I'm a pretty good musician, but like you said, it just wasn't intuitive. And where I thought it
Yeah,
was going to go, it didn't always go, and sometimes it did. But anyway, that being said, like so much of this kind of music, once you get it in your ear and in your throat, it becomes
yeah.
very fulfilling and enjoyable to sing. And yeah,
Sure. Well, I think that there's two operas that Douglas Moore wrote. One of them being the Ballad of Baby Doe. The other is The Devil and Daniel Webster. Brian and I were talking, I don't know, a while back. We were talking about repertoire. Just like when you're a young artist and you're trying to figure out your audition package, and you're like,
hmm
okay, I need to have an English aria. What should it be? And we were just talking about this in a recent episode we recorded. I always tried to be that guy that found like interesting off the beaten path things, thinking that the panel would appreciate me offering repertoire that they didn't hear 150 times that
yeah,
day. That was a mistake. That was a
no,
mistake on my part. As we were saying earlier, but I'll say again, I think the panel loves to hear things that they are very familiar with so that it makes their job a lot easier to say, this is the one that we want for that because we've heard 18 other people sing the same thing and we've decided that this is the one that we want.
yeah.
But yeah, there's a very silly aria from The Devil and Daniel Webster by Douglas Moore called I've Got a Ram Goliath. And for a little period of time,
Is that a Dodge truck, a Ram Goliath?
I have a ram.
What is he referring
I've
to?
got
Like
a
an actual
ram
animal that he's
Goliath. Yeah, it's literally like the hokiest, folksy. Let's see if I've got a ram Goliath named for the Philistine, and I'll wrestle him every Tuesday night with these. Oh yeah, this is what. So, Virginia, if you don't already know, I was born without my right hand. And the next line in that aria, I wrestle him every Tuesday night with these two hands of mine.
no!
And I remember when I would do it, I would go, like, well,
Oh my God, Weston, you never told me. That's hilarious.
You are like,
My
let me
God.
find a really obscure aria that also talks about
Mentions a
two
yeah,
hands.
right. That's exactly
Made
right.
an acting choice.
There you
Oh
go.
my gosh. Well,
Oh my
the
God.
Ram, that's another good story that you can tell when some person who doesn't know you comes up to you and asks you like like a person who shouldn't be saying
Yeah,
that.
right.
Oh, I had this Ram and, one time, whatever.
Yeah,
Anyway,
right.
back to the topic at hand. So
Yes,
that's
sorry.
what's coming up. Is there anything else that you can tell us? Any projects, even if you don't name where they are, whatever. Just some roles or some things coming up that you're excited about.
Yeah, I get to go back to Susanna.
Great,
Fantastic.
May. That'll be in Williamsburg, Opera in Williamsburg.
wonderful,
We're doing Baby Doe in the summer, and I'm really excited. I just signed for my first Traviata next year.
Oh, fantastic.
I can't say
beautiful.
where yet, but
That's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
totally
no.
fine, totally understandable. But yeah, talk about another just iconic role. Traviata is just. I just we were talking. I guess because we were talking about Poem with Julia and how Rodolfo. I mean, yes, Mimi sings and Musetta sings a lot and Marcello and stuff, but like for the tenor, it's relentless. Like you're just
Yeah.
on stage almost the whole time. And it's great and it's fun, don't get me wrong, but one, it's hard to rehearse because you were called to every rehearsal. So you
Absolutely.
never get an afternoon off like,
Right.
you are if you're doing Butterfly as a tenor, you might get 2 days off while they
Yeah,
work on act 2.
exactly.
But anyway, getting back to Traviata, it's just like that sounds like Lucia is a huge sing too. But how have you been thinking about preparing that role? I assume that you knew the aria and maybe you even used it for the audition.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now that you've got the contract, how are you kind of carving that up and how are you looking at it? And yeah,
Yeah.
just give our audience some strategies for tackling such a huge project.
It's a great question because it's such an iconic role. Everybody has so many opinions about
Mm,
uh, ways it can be sung, ways it should
indeed.
be sung. And so, I just go back to my touchstone of how would I do it? What feels the most authentic to me? And I think in terms of learning all that music,
Yes.
it's so intuitive. Um,
Yeah.
for me,
Totally
Yeah.
agree.
when I'm approaching all the act 1 stuff is probably gonna be the hardest to
Mhm.
memorize because it's
Right.
it's very, what do you call it? Like, you just jump in for a sec.
Those
Mhm.
Verdi party scenes, whether
Yeah.
it's Rigoletto
Exactly.
opening or
Yeah,
Traviata opening, and then the gambling scene, it's just like
Yeah.
what you're saying, right? Like, you may as
Yep.
well just start learning everybody's part and
Mhm.
then being like, "Oh, yeah, that's my line."
Yep.
But because if one person drops, the whole thing
What's a
can fall
mess?
apart.
It's a
yeah,
total mess.
The whole thing
yeah.
can fall apart. Anyway, so you're saying that's awesome, yeah.
Yeah, that's such a great I've used this without even knowing that I've used it, but listening to recordings, getting
Mhm.
inspiration from fabulous singers like
Yeah.
Zeani, like,
Oh, did Virginia Ziani ever sing
Oh,
Violetta?
did she? I don't know.
over
Was that not a
600
signature?
times.
Yeah.
Um,
Amazing.
yeah, and so learning everybody's part, I think Baby Doe is the first role, maybe Susanna, but coming close to really feeling like I'm carrying the show.
Mhm.
And that responsibility means a lot to me, and so I put in all the work of learning the entire score. And
Mhm.
really in my dreams, maybe one day when the voice is kaput, I'll get to go out and conduct because I know the orchestra score really well.
Mhm.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's super
Mhm.
fun. Oh, your voice will
So
never be kaput, but come on. But, I know what you're saying, but yeah, that's great, and I think that that's wonderful, and I think especially for the roles that you're talking about, it makes so much sense. Because I remember I remember again when I was singing small roles somewhere in New Orleans or something, one of the tenors who I love and had a lot of respect for would show up with a score that only had his music in it. So he had cut everybody else's music out of his score.
Ooh.
The idea was that he's like, I'm traveling around with 5 different scores. So I'm only, because I mean, again, this is pre iPad, this is pre all
right.
this kind of stuff. So in order
Right.
to save a little bit of weight on the scores, he would only have the music for his parts in there. Now, don't get me wrong, the guy had been doing these roles for years, if not decades, so he knew all the music.
Right.
But I just looked at that and thought that that was such a tenor thing to do.
Well, I wasn't gonna say it, but
I mean, it's like,
Oh my
I don't
God.
know. Is anybody else in this show? Oh,
Well,
what happens between?
to piggyback off that, I remember when I was a student at IU,
Uh-huh.
they were doing interviews for like a new tenure track faculty, and one
Yeah.
of the interview things was that he would come in and talk to our class. I was a student there in a new experimental program called a Performer Diploma in Professional Opera Studies that only
Mhm.
existed the 3 years that I was there, and then they got
Yeah.
rid of it because they didn't have the funding for it or whatever. But
Right.
he came in and talked to us, and we had just been going through this whole process of like how to prepare a role and the importance of understanding the source material. And someone asked him like, "What do you think about when you prepare a role? Do you do a lot of work, or how much work do you do with the source material, and how does that influence your?" And he was like, "No, not at all. I feel like if they," this tenor goes, "I feel like if the composer wanted any of the source material in the show, he would have put it in the show. So I don't ever do any kind of research about source." And we were just like, "Oh my
Wow.
gosh, oh my gosh." We're like, "Okay, well, that's an opinion." He did not get that job. But
What a hot take, my guy.
it's a hot take. I know, right? It's like, okay, that's a pretty strong opinion.
Tenors, what are you gonna? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Funny
So
stuff.
anyways, let's get back to Traviata and tell me. So you said you think that Act One is going to be, I mean, let's say vocally speaking, which act do you feel like you, because like, I don't need to tell you guys, you're working on it. Weston sung it a gajillion times.
I'll
Yeah,
tell you
and
what,
it's
Act
so long.
the Act 2 duet's the best stuff.
Yeah. It
While
is,
we're in
yeah.
Central City, if you want to sing through any of that, I'm happy to do it.
Oh, that's
Yes,
awesome.
I'm
Yeah.
down.
If you have a
Um,
free 45 minutes to get
Yeah,
through
right.
that.
No,
those
it's
two
only a
beats.
22-minute duet. Come on, come on.
Oh my gosh, it seems like, I'm just kidding. No, I love that music. I love
Well,
that
let's say
music.
this: people talk oftentimes that Violetta is seen as like three different voices, right? You've
Yeah.
got the Act
Right.
1, you've got the Act 2. I tend to lean a little bit more towards like Act 2 and 3 are very similar, I think.
Yes.
If let's say this, I love again what you said, like you're just going to sing it with your voice,
Yeah.
which is exactly what one must do. But it's clear when you start to look at the writing that she's in a different place in Act 1 than she is in Act 2.
Yeah.
It's certainly in Act 3.
Yeah.
And I think that oftentimes, well, if you take a look at Addio da Passato and you take a look at
Parigio.
what?
Parigio.
No, I was talking about the Sempre Libera.
Sempre
The
Libera.
first,
the
if you
difference
take a look
between
at the
those
two
two.
big arias, like in the first act and in the third act, I mean,
That's like
you
two
could-
different things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally two different things.
Yeah.
So how have you felt as you obviously singing it with your voice, but how have you felt when you sing through these things?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you all, but I love to do recitals too. And I
Mm.
find that to present a really well-rounded, full of variety program,
Mhm.
sometimes the things I'll program require this skill to kind of reset, rewind, um, lean on coloratura maybe in one set,
Mhm.
and then lean on more of a lyrical line, and then maybe some arias that uh, you got to have some oomph for.
Right.
So it really just feels like that to me. When I sing through the whole roll front to back, I actually prefer to start lighter and be able to lean into my support in the second and third. So the way that he wrote it, I think, is great for me.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think you nailed it. I think you're so wise to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Because I do think that someone who might not be as suave would be like, I'm gonna get hiked up a little bit and bubbly for this first act. Because
Yeah.
everybody's like E flat, E flat, E flat, E flat. And I tell you, of all the times I've done Traviata, a handful of people did the E flat, but like Yoncheva, no. Ermaniela Yaho, sometimes. And it's
The
like, okay,
majority of sopranos do not sing the high E flat at the end.
If you're singing the whole roll, I mean, you have to think about the whole night. You can't just be popping out the E flat and it finishes the concert. And
yeah,
Oh, right. If you're just
exactly.
doing it, if you've just sung it on a concert or something,
Right.
Yeah.
that's totally different.
yeah.
And then but then I've heard a lot of the girls that sing this say that the Ama mi Alfredo is where they feel like that's where that's where the sopranos kind of like make their mark, as it were, in the second act going into Act 3, because Act 3 really is a Dio del Passato and Parigio Cara. Isn't that essentially it? and she
Yeah.
dies. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
heartbreaking, but 2 is a marathon.
2 is,
2
yeah.
is a
I mean,
marathon.
yeah, to have the back-to-back scenes that she has with, Germont and Alfredo, yeah.
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 Um,
And really for me right now is going through 1, 2, and then the party scene where you have all of those kind of
yes.
actually the writing reminds me of Baby Doe sometimes, where you
Oh,
have like the B or the B flat coming out of nowhere, you're
yeah.
octave, and those kinds
Mhm.
of things are always I zone in on that. I'm like, "Okay, how can I make this so seamless?"
Yeah, because like, in that big, what is that, septet? How many people are in that plus the chorus? The big thing,
Yeah.
she's
Are
got
you
those
talking about the end of act
soaring.
2?
And the
Yeah.
Vex too,
Mhm.
at
Yeah,
the
yeah, she's
Mhm.
got
party.
those soaring kinda lines, and it's back there, and it's like, yeah, when he's doing this pretzel thing,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa," and then, of course, the duet where I love it's such a great scene before he throws all the cards and chips and stuff at her.
Oh my god.
But that's such a heartbreaking "Dunque me," and it's like,
Yes.
"Si, l'amo tutti a me." My god,
So
what
great.
music. Jeez Louise. Oh,
No, I love it. Live, breathe, and die for Traviata. It's my dream.
that's amazing.
Yeah,
Congratulations. You're gonna have
thank
such a
you.
great success, and it's gonna be so much
Yeah.
fun.
Thank you.
It's gonna be
So
awesome.
yeah, what else? I mean, we're at 36 minutes. We could wrap up here, but it's been so fun, and I feel like it's been so interesting and informative for our audience. So if there's anything else, like, maybe what do you wish you had known when you were here at during your IU studies, undergrad and masters, that now, that you would have written a letter to yourself saying, do this, don't do this, don't worry about this, spend more time with this. What do you think?
There's so many answers to that question, but
Good.
I think I have to answer it this way
Okay.
because grew up, right, with a voice teacher mom, and I
Right.
Right.
heard so many master classes, and this is a Marilyn Mims. I have to credit her with this, but I think this stuck with me and continues to stick with me, and I wanna make sure all the young singers that I can speak to hear this.
I love
So,
it.
listen up. Um, as singers, we get on stage and we represent a character, but that character is a part of us. And we're showing a part of us very vulnerably to the
Mhm.
audience and to the public. Do you like that person? Do you feel open and joyful about sharing that person with the
Yeah.
audience? Because at the end of the day, you have to be the one who's willing to show your heart to the people in order to make a difference and move somebody.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. That
yeah.
was true and deep, and I love that. I just, as soon as you said that, I was like, yeah, that's why I always hated playing the Duke, because I don't like pretty much anything about his character.
Yeah,
And the music is fun, and I had a lot of success with especially with La Donna Mobile, and a bit with Pardon Me in competitions and stuff. Doing the show was just never I just never liked being that guy, especially compared to like Rodolfo or something, where I just feel like I vibe much more with that kind of sentiment and personality, and therefore the musical writing,
yeah.
you know?
No, for
That's
sure.
awesome. That's great. That's great. Do you have anything else to add? Because if not, I wanna dig in and just on one little thing about what you just said.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Dig right away.
So one thing we were talking about with another singer on here, I don't know if it was Julie or what, but like talking about, as you were just saying, right, making a character your own. And we say that, and I think it would be interesting. You pretty much just put your finger on it, but maybe like let's take one of those characters, whether it's Violetta, whether it's Lucia, whether it's Susanna or Musetta. How would you put a bit of Virginia into those characters in a tangible way that a young singer who hears it and like, well, how am I going to put a little bit of little old me into whoever? How do you find yourself doing that, and like and maybe just some insight for someone a little bit closer to our listeners' age of hearing them do
Yeah.
it, I think would be helpful.
Yeah, okay. Well, the text is your best friend. Use
Yes.
it, study it. You can do the thing of word for word and then turn that word for word into phrases, and then you can paraphrase. I
Yeah.
think the best way that I discovered my take on characters was what they were saying.
Mhm.
Figuring out where that place is, where we're coming from when they're
Mhm.
saying it, and thinking about a time in your life or a scenario or a situation even if it hasn't happened or, you
Yeah.
can dream it up. and
Right.
just saying the things that they're saying, but say it your way. Say it
Yeah.
in your own native language. Get a sense of when you would say that, why you would say that. And
Mhm.
then you can kind of copy, maybe not copy paste, but like pour it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
One of
I
the
love
things
that. Yeah,
one
go
of the
ahead.
things that I always encourage my students to do is yes, do your word for word and phrase by phrase, but then in addition, do a 2026 vernacular conversation translation. How would you say this to your best friend? How would you, the person,
Right.
not the character, so that you really find that piece of yourself in
Yeah.
these roles,
Yeah.
whether they're 200 years old, 100 years, whatever it might be, so
Yeah.
that we can bring it to current day. Yeah, I think I love that. I think that's one of the most important
Yeah,
parts
I
of it.
mean, yeah, you're so wise beyond your years, and I'm so thrilled that you agreed to do this for us and with us. Likewise, I think I remember talking to Weston about singing Rigoletto before he had a daughter and singing Rigoletto after he had a daughter.
Well, actually, my very first, well, we did a truncated version of Rigoletto in
Right,
when Brian and I met in Aspen,
right.
and in
Yay.
Harris Hall, right? That's the
Yep, that's
underground
right.
Yes.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Big concert
In
hall.
Harris Hall, we did so Darko Butorak was one of the Conductor Institute guys, and he's also an IU alum. And
Uh-huh.
so Darko came to me one day and he was like, "Hey, I want to do a big chunk of Rigoletto. And I want you to sing the Rigoletto. Can you cast the rest of it?" I was like, "Yes, I can." So I was like, "Brian, you're singing the Duke." We got all of our friends to do it. And somewhere around here, I still have a recording of that, which is amazing. But yeah,
I
that was
never want that recording
2000.
heard. I was
That
in
was
transition between
2003.
teachers, but yeah, I
Oh,
was
look, hey,
03.
listen. I mean, weren't we all? I mean, we're figuring out what we're supposed to do. But yeah, that was a solid 8 years before I had my daughter, and then uh, my daughter's name is Amelia. Amelia was born in 2011, and then 2 years later, in 2013, was my first fully staged,
Ah,
production of Rigoletto that I
right.
did. And I remember, prepping those father-daughter duets. Is Gilda a role that you feel like you would sing?
Yeah, yeah, I've sung
Mm,
excerpts, with orchestra, but I've never sung the whole role. That's on my to-do list, my
Yeah.
goal.
I mean,
there you
that's
go.
another one of those roles where you look at Caro Nome and you go, "Oh, okay,
Right.
so like a coloratura soprano." No,
Right.
you
Absolutely
have
not.
got to be able to sing the 3 duets with Rigoletto and the duet with the tenor,
Yeah.
and then still be able to somehow sing Caro Nome, because that is a completely different sing than the way that the duets are written.
Right.
But yeah, it was a very, very different take, for me once I had a daughter. And I mean, just, oh God, the Act 3 stuff. I'm just like
I know.
preparing it in my living room and I'm like
Jeez
bawling. I'm like,
Louise. Of
no,
course.
how am I going to make it through this? But yeah, over the years, I mean, I think one of the things that, at a place where I am in my career, when I kind of have a best of both worlds, I feel like, because I get to revisit a lot of the same repertoire.
Mhm.
I'm about to do my 23rd production of Butterfly next month, and then I think I've done 19, but I'm making my house debut with Utah Opera, and I'm singing Germont again. I think that'll be my 20th production of Traviata. But each time I get to do another one of these roles, whether Germont or Rigoletto or whatever it is, the thing that I love about it is like bringing life experience and bringing other production experiences, right? Like that's the whole
Sure.
point. And the music to me never gets old. And it's always about finding new things in the text or in the music. And then on the flip side of this, right, I get to do Ballad of Baby Doe with you. And I've never sung that opera. And so I think that'll be a lot of fun,
I know, I'm
finding
doing
something new.
a lot of these musettas, a lot of Susannas, and so Baby Doe is gonna be such a fabulous opportunity to do something in my own language. I've never done opera in English.
Really?
Mm,
That's a whole different, what do they say?
yes.
Ball of
Ball
wax?
game? Ball
Yeah,
wax?
whatever it
Right.
is,
Ball
Both.
you name it. Yeah, yeah, it is, because I think that singing in anyone's own, uh, 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 not vernacular, the
native.
Native
language that you
language.
native language. Thank
Yeah.
you. I was like, what's the word for the language that you know?
Mother tongue. Yes.
Singing in your own native language is always the trickiest, because we look at text and we go, "Oh, I know how to say that word," but you don't think about the vowels that are actually created in order to elongate that word. And especially if it's in the passaggio or above, you got to figure out like, oh, what do I need to sing on that word in order to make that feel as
Yeah.
easy and freely as it does when I sing in different languages,
Yeah, or in my case, you listen back to a recording and you're like, "What the heck am I saying? I
Yeah,
don't know."
right. Yeah, it gets too far off the tracks. You're like, wait a minute, that felt great, but what word is that? Yeah. It's amazing. Well, listen, thank you so much. And I am so excited to watch your career and to get to know you better as we perform together this summer. And wish you all the best with these Susannas and Musettas that you have coming up before we get to see each other. And yeah, just thanks again for being here. It was a pleasure to get to know you.
Yeah, thank you guys. I can't wait, and I'll see you soon.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thanks again.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on Between the Notes. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
And join us next week for more behind the scenes stories, laughs, and operatic gold coming your way.